I'm probably only going to give it another 30 seconds. We're up to 86. This is exciting for me. We've been doing this 7 years. I've been in all seven of them, and I love that. And the opportunity to give you quality professional development when you don't have to leave your living room or change out of your pajamas is a big deal. Kids on the 27th. There are places that I know where kids are showing up on August, I think it's the 6th. I don't know, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, Thursday the 6th. So they go 2 days and then they all pass out. So I get it. It's too early, but I'll tell you what, I love getting out on Memorial Day. So while I hate it in the beginning, I love it in the end game for that. Let's go ahead and start this thing. I think that's important for us. Oh, that's what I got to do. Come on, there we go. You already know about the Q&A and all that stuff. I do have my trusty friend Ryan manning the chat here. I proved in the last session how abysmal I am at running the chat and presenting at the same time. So any questions you've got in there, Ryan will be there. I'll check with him once, but there's 85 of you currently now. And so my expectation is you will have some questions as you go along. Ask them. One of the big things we have at TCI is we don't want you to get out of here confused. We want you to know some things. You chose to come to this session for a reason, and I want to make sure that reason is met for you. So welcome. I'm Loyal Frazier from California, went to Colorado, now in Oklahoma. 6 kids, 8 grandkids. Teaching. I'm about to start my 37th year. You actually are my vacation, so thank you for this because I'm actually alone. Paige, I was in Castle Rock, Colorado. I don't know if that means anything to you. So there you are. But I love that we're from all over the place. I did not take the time to count. Ryan, if you have nothing to do, you can count how many states are represented here. Extra credit for that. I'll see if I can get you a raise. So I don't know what you really want. This is a very quick way to find out maybe something. But this is called the Social Studies Skill Builder lesson, which means there should be a skill being built. Oh, that is fabulous in Castle Rock. I taught at Castle View High School there. So there you go. What when I started teaching, and I know I started teaching before the invention of color, and no, stamina is not a skill, but it's important. The deal was it was all about content, at least in the high school level. I now teach in junior high, and I'm dual certified in math and social studies. So skills are different in each, but skills are still important. And now so much of what we teach needs to be skills based. Not sure what it is you need. I'm seeing some maps. I'm seeing something about evidence there. Went too fast to get past supporting claims, dealing with writing, which is, we all know that reading suffered during distance learning. May it never happen again, but writing suffered as well, and so did vocabulary development. And so we want to develop those skills while we're still getting through our content, because social studies is the one content that adds to it every single year in specific sort of genres, especially like U.S. history and world history. We teach more now than we did when I started in 1990. So we need time. We got to save time. And this strategy is designed to save you some time. So we're going to cover high quality instruction in social studies. What does that actually look like? And then we'll quickly go over the TCI approach. What are the 6 powerful teaching strategies? And then what is the one that we're going to dive into, the skill builder? Look at a high school example and a middle school example. Really, if I only get to one example, doesn't really matter the grade level. The strategy is the same throughout, and I cannot emphasize that enough. It doesn't matter what grade level I'm teaching. You come in and see me do a skill builder, it's going to look the same no matter what the topic is. Questions throughout, quick debrief at the end will get you on to the 3rd session. So that's where we're going. High quality social studies instruction. I don't want to spend a ton of time on this because I think we're going to be in pretty universal agreement on that. It's got to hit standards, of course. State standards, I know everybody makes a big deal out of them, but they're much more alike than they are different nationally. So we're going to hit them. Emphasize social studies practices and skills. We have to want to teach the skills. Some might happen by accidents, but being very intentional is important. Multiple perspective and diverse sources. I saw several of you put something in the chat about sources, using them, finding them. finding out what the best ones are. That's important. It has to be well organized, and I'm going to emphasize easy to use. Time is a four-letter word for teachers. It is tough to get through everything. I will admit I've never gotten through my U.S. history curriculum from beginning to end. There are thousands of students running around our country who think U.S. history ended at the Vietnam War. I don't know if you can give me an amen on that. I'm sorry if you can. I try. I get there, but it's a really fast version at the end. So thanks, Kevin. Um, so easy is a big deal for us. We don't have hours upon hours to learn something new. We need to learn it now, and I want you to be good by the end of this 45, 50 minutes. Scaffolding for learning support's got to be able to meet every kid where that kid is at. And can we assess it summatively? Can we assess it formatively? And if we can do all of these things, that's a winner-winner chicken dinner lesson. And that's where I hopefully am going to take you throughout this whole deal. I am not going to go into all this. If you are a research junkie, there's your QR code. Have at it. But all five of these in no particular order are met by all of TCI curriculum, but the skill builder in particular, understanding by design, non-linguistic representation, sound, this all sounds really cool. Multimodal learning, cooperative interaction, and one that is developed in the 60s that was the basis of the very beginning of TCI, spiral curriculum, starting with something all kids can do and then taking them, building them all up. I'm from Oklahoma, so it's sort of like a tornado. They all get in at the beginning and it takes them up into the top, but non-lethal. That's the thing we're looking for. So we hit all those. You want to read more about them? Read more about them. These are our 6 strategies. On our website, you can find a document that explains them all in detail. If anybody wants it in Ryan's board, he can find it for you probably and post it. Visual discovery, experiential exercise, response group, my personal favorite. Writing for understanding, problem solving, group work. And the one we're going to go over, the social studies skill builder. But if you're relatively new to TCI, every lesson, chapter if you want, takes one of these and builds an interactive hands-on lesson around that particular lesson. It is good to know what these are so that you know what's coming when you read a little thumbnail sketch on it right there. Okay? So I'm going to cover the skill builder, the rest of them. There are other sessions on them, and we've got a doc that helps you with that. So these are, just to steal from the slide, fast-paced activities that teach skills and content simultaneously. That's the time saver. We've got lots of time savers. It's the only thing that saves me because I can eat up a lot of time, and so can my school. And so there are 5 or 6 of these things here. I used to say 6 or 7, but I can't say that anymore because I'm tired of getting angry at kids. So primary and secondary sources, that's important. If you're teaching a TCI lesson, we've done it for you. Not that you can't bring in more or ones you like better. Ryan's put a couple of links up there for those of you asking questions. So, so we've done it. You could teach the lesson with what we give you. Time saver. Okay. Ensure the task allows students to use different modalities. It can't just be a worksheet that they work on with a partner. There's got to be some other avenues that they use. Visual, spatial, analytical skills. There's got to be something they use. We've done that for you, and you can add to it. We need to model it and then let them practice. Remember, they're building a skill. So they need to practice 4, 5, up to, I think we have some where you could go up to 10 and you don't have to do them all. But by the end, we want them better at that skill than they started. By the way, these model many, many, many state tests now in the way they write questions. There are skills-based questions where they don't actually need to know any content to be able to get the question right. This helps with that. Not that I'm about state test scores, and they're of the devil as far as I'm concerned, but it's my reality. So we need to do that, okay? If we can give kids immediate feedback, huge winner, hard to do. We have an idea and an example we'll give you, but I will admit this is the hardest thing for me to consistently do in a skill builder activity. But I'll share a little bit. And the last one, if we can debrief it to make sure they get sort of an end product out of this, and then they can come up with some sort of a response to the essential question for the lesson. That's the full tie up and winner at the end. Those are the 5 steps. I'll share them again after we go through one, or if we have time, two skill builders for you. Okay. The first one we're going to cover comes from our high school government course. And it is a skill builder using provided placards that can be printed if your district didn't purchase them. And they're going to go through these placards using visual spatial amongst other modalities to solve some problems and find out some information. Okay. And so I have covered some of the instruction and the 6 powerful practices. And now we're going into the high school example right here, right now. Okay. So the essential question for this lesson is, to what extent do the media influence your political views? This is huge and fun and relevant, and it will help them because most people in our country get their, if they get any at all, political information from one source. And we want them to learn that there are multiple sources. And if you're going to be really well informed, that's good that there's multiple sources for them. So there's our essential question that they're going to interact with at the end of the lesson. The activity is they're going to analyze in pairs their persuasive techniques and how media will try to persuade you, or how people running for office will try to persuade you to go their way. And this is really exciting. It helps make students much more conscious. And in a lot of places in the country, this is seniors. These are people who can vote in the next election, much more conscious of what a TikTok ad, a political cartoon, what it's trying to do to them because it has a purpose. Okay. So I am not concerned with the content for you. Kevin, I think you're going to see that right here. And if you look in the chat, Kevin put a great question out there. Hopefully, I'll model that for you right now. Okay. And then if it's still unclear, you'll see the TCI uses examples from all over the spectrum on purpose to fix that right there. Okay. Lisa, you can use this in 8th grade if your high school people aren't using it, or if you're teaching government in 8th grade. It really doesn't have to be a high school lesson per se. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 7 different ways we go over the persuasive techniques. There's a QR code there if you want to look at the text and see how all of these are explained. I'm not going to go there because it's not about you learning the techniques necessarily. But I think we'll recognize the first one of name calling as being very prevalent in our politics today. Glittering generalities is a big deal. If you listen to political people, or you want to say, oh, that's so political. What they're talking about is they say a whole bunch of stuff and didn't get specific in it, and on and on. So we have to have the kids be familiar with these 7, but they don't have to be experts, because every time they see a political cartoon, what they'll do is they'll look at these 7 and they'll decide which ones match the political cartoon that you're trying to look at. So they'll have to look through all 7 of them. And over the course of 5, 8 of these that they may look at, they're going to be very familiar with these. That's the key. That's how we build the skill. So there's the 7 again. What persuasive techniques are used in this ad? Not going to take a lot of time because I would like to show you the second one, which comes from geography. So this is a poster. There's Adlai Stevenson. And if we look on here, there's not, anybody's really calling anybody names. Maybe there's some generalities. There's no real testimonies here, although he is being linked to FDR and Truman. So it's maybe a little bit of this bandwagon-y kind of thing here, trying to make a link between breadlines and how higher wages will take you away from breadlines. We get a classroom discussion on this while they're looking at them so that they get an idea on which ones they could be. I don't want to get bogged down in that because we're learning skill builder. So that's where I'm headed. I can't press this thing right very well. Remind me later, get out of my way. Okay. No, don't do that. My apologies. I'm having a little issue with Google stuff. I'll get out of it here in a second. Maybe. There it goes. Go away. There it is. Okay. So just touch it lightly. Okay. Then they get another example right here to try one. And this is actually one of the ones we have with of the, I believe we have 8. That's a very common number for us on Truman. You right away, you can see that they're trying to show you some famous people. For those of you that don't teach this level in here, the Reverend Jackson right here, who just recently passed away, Jimmy Carter right here. This is very clever using a movie poster way to do this. Again, got other famous people here. We take an opportunity for them as far as your class needs to go. Remember, we're trying to build a skill, build some content. They don't necessarily need to look at every one of our examples to build that content. And so I'm going to run and show you where we're going to part 2 on the thing. Do they apply to video? So we've got several video clips. I'm not going to show you this whole thing, but I want you to see it. It is my favorite political ad of all time, highly controversial. If I say the flower daisy, then you know this, you're gonna get it. But it should come through. If the volume doesn't work, you can let me know, but I should have fixed it.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7.
Maybe I will play it. I love this so much, I'm just going to play it.
6, 8, 9, 9.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5.
Check out I mean, this is incredible for the 60s.
1, 0.
And I stop it right there. You'll notice there's 27 seconds left. This is going to go through, and Johnson's going to tell you this.
These are the stakes. To make a world in which all of God's children can live, or to go into the dark. We must either love each other, or we must die.
Vote for President.
Okay, that is a pretty powerful message. It was put on. They later took it off, but the news agency showed it all over the place. So Johnson got free advertising at that point in time. So we must come into the light, or we must die. Then the kids are going over here and checking out what works with this. So we've got 8 examples, political cartoons, modes of operandi here on how we go about it with video. This lesson can be done digitally. It could be done with no digital whatsoever, other than if you want to watch the video clips. So we are trying at TCI, and I think I need to make this point. You can be 100% digital if you want to, and you can do all of TCI. You could be no digital, maybe with the exception of the presentation that you would put up. And I don't really call that being digital. The kids don't have to interact digitally if you don't want them to. And you're absolutely fine. And you can do a combination of that. So if you don't even have this, and you get a hold of the demo account and you print the things, I can do this lesson. And it's powerful for you to be able to do this. Remember, they're going through political cartoons one at a time with a partner. They're coming to through a discussion and a decision on how many of these they are that this advertisement uses, and it's usually more than one. I don't know if any of them have all 7 of them out there. And kids, when they're done with one, they will go get another. They'll use different pace. Here's the way where I can show you how we give feedback. For me, this is how I can get this done. If I was going to give immediate feedback, every time students were done with one, they'd either have to bring it to me or I go to them, and I have to give them feedback in the way of points, verbal feedback, or whatever. My class sizes average around 32. I don't really have the time to do that and help kids that are struggling. So for me, they all have to show me their first one. I give them, I have a stamp with my name on it. I give them stamp on their notebook so that one was covered well. I now know they're doing it properly. Now they're off and running. I have a number I'd like them to get to by the end of whatever the amount of time is. For me, this is a 2 day lesson of, I'm in high school, I'm 52 minutes a class, and then they're ready to go. And then they're working, and then I'm helping the kids. There are other ways. For me, in the way I run my classroom, haven't been happy with the other ways, but we do need to make sure kids aren't doing it wrong for the entirety of the time, because then they're not building the skill correctly. They get to the end and we didn't achieve our goals. And I don't want that to happen. Sweet. Ryan shared a link with you to help you with that. There's another video on here. I think this one's George W. Bush. Yeah. And so I'm not gonna play that one. You get the idea. So it's a mixture of videos and political cartoons. And by the way, political cartoons, extremely high on Bloom's taxonomy. I think it's probably more difficult for them now than it used to be because nobody reads newspapers or does political cartoons anymore. So I welcome that challenge for me because I realize it takes a little more time. Not that those are important, but what it teaches them about critical thinking is very important, and that's where I want to go in my classroom. Okay, so we're learning a lot about public opinion in the media. I'll be honest, I forgot what this video is here. Oh, it's just while I'm talking, you're seeing kids working. So this is really them in the classroom as a partner going up and working. That's the teacher helping them and explaining what they need to do. And again, truly in TCI, you kind of want to be the guide on the side. We want the kids doing more work than not. Monica, yeah, Ryan will answer that one. That's a great question. So here's somebody using the textbook, but doing the digital version of the lesson, the videos and the primary source documents. You saw they were up on the classroom in this example right here, but he's letting the kids use their digital version of their 7 techniques. So they'll look at it, check the different techniques, finish one up, have me look at the first one, move on with the rest of them. So the introduction, the preview, which I did not go over with you, the examples, working on this probably ends the day. And if I'm not block schedule the next day, they go and they finish this up, and then we'll go into our closure, which I'll get here to here in just a second. That's the standard format of a TCI lesson if you're new: a preview, hands-on activity, a process to close it out and cement the learning in the brain. 3-step lesson plan. Everything else helps those processes, okay? And so that's really important for us. So let me go over some tips for Skill Builder, and then I'll show you quickly the geography one. Pairs is the go-to. If I have an odd number, and when don't I, when I want to make groups or pairs, I'd rather have a group of 3 than a single. Don't want a single, no matter if the kid says, I work really well alone. Thank you. All the research says no. They start with different skill challenges, meaning this is what I want you to do, whatever the skill challenge is. And I am not shy about letting them know the skills they're going to build. That's important. That my stamp speeds up the grading. Anything that's just going to get it out there, that's more of a formative assessment anyway at that point in time, so they can move on. That's checking the first one. If you have a small class and you can check everyone every time, that's better. That's giving them constant feedback, which they need, many of them. Stop when necessary. I highlighted this because it's super important. You don't have to complete all 8 or 10, or there's one lesson in U.S. History High School that's got 16. You don't have to do them all. It's not, the bottom of Bloom's is very factoid based. And if you're grading on Bloom's and teaching in Bloom's and everything's going to be factoid, then you have to cover it all or they miss a fact. If we're going higher up and we're analyzing, we're differentiating things, we're synthesizing, or we're creating, we don't need every example because we don't need every factoid for that. And that's what we're trying to get to, is higher level thinking. And so they don't have to do them all. If you've got one you want everybody to do, like Daisy, then tell everybody you have to do 6 of them, but everybody's got to do L, whatever it is. And then everybody does that. And then if you want to do some factoid grading and formative assessment on that particular one, do it. That works. That's a thinking TCI classroom, and that's what we really want you to do. Wrap up with a whole class debate. This one has one. I'll show you kind of a thing going on in the geography one that'll work, I think, a little better. So I'm not going to jump to this one right now. But pro tip, if you're teaching in a TCI classroom, then there's a lot of things going on. I lose track of time. For instance, Ryan, when you get a second, will you tell me what time I have to close this and end it because I've forgotten already? So I have a timer I got off Amazon for like $8. It's magnetic, goes to my whiteboard. I spin it, let it go, and it makes a sound, and I win because I can't keep track. And plus, they can always look how much time do they have left, and that's a win for me. So that's a pro tip for many of our lessons, but definitely for a social studies skill builder.
Laura, we have
So
about 25 minutes left. So
25.
in
Hang on,
about
checking this.
15 minutes, I'll give you the 10-minute warning.
Okay. So we're done at 10 after is what you're saying. They got to be out of here, right?
I believe so, yes.
You're wonderful. Was there any question that came up that we should answer right now, Ryan, or have you taken care of them all in the chat?
I think I've taken care of everything in the chat. Just
Okay.
a few questions here or there. And actually, you know what? I'm sorry, Loyal. We're going to 11:05. That's
Oh, 05. Okay, that's good. That's
sorry.
good. That's fine. I don't want to be the guy that gets everybody in late. And Terry, if I understand yours, we have to create the skill builders then. If you're using TCI, you don't have to create the skill builders. If you're not using TCI in your classroom, let me tell you this. Of our 6 strategies, this is the easiest to make your own. It's the easiest to take a lesson you already have and adapt it. And we have more examples of skill builders than any other of the other 5 strategies. And so the very first lesson I created around the TCI model was a skill builder. So, Christina, you know what? I'm going to answer that reading one in just a second, a super quick answer. I'm just going to tell you how I do the reading one. And I'll have a little caveat for that. So if you'll hold off on that, I'll go ahead and answer that one in a second. I'm going to go live here into my session, lesson over. Is this where I want to go? Let me pull that across. I'm going to go live into my geography. It's middle school geography. Some places teach that in 7th, some teach it in 8th. We have a 9th grade or a high school version. Really, the only difference in the two is the level in the text. And that may go away here pretty soon anyway. And so if you've done anything with TCI at all, you know we've got this purple sidebar over here. You know we've got this orange box kids can't see that's got all of the good stuff in it on how to plan, etc. The lesson that I chose here, which is a skill builder model, is the physical and human geography of Canada and the US. It's the 4th lesson. So again, the content is irrelevant. I'm going to scroll down and open up mine that I edited a little bit, which lives here, the classroom activity. So let me open that up. And this is speed because you know what a skill builder is now. This is what it looks like in a TCI lesson. There's that preview, there's the activity, and there's that processing, the 3 steps. This particular one is called a mapping challenge. They are phenomenal. If your school or your geography teachers, if your school doesn't teach geography, or your geography teacher doesn't use these, and you feel like you need a little geography in your history class, and I do, mine know nothing when they come in, the mapping challenges are the way to go. And so we have one for every region of the world. So, Monica, I'll answer that right now. Okay, let me do that because I've got it up here visually. So when you go to a lesson and you go to procedures in the little orange box, and I think we're really trying to hone these down a little bit better. But if I go here and I scroll to my activity in here, it's going to say in here if it's a response group, if it's a skill builder, etc. It's going to tell you in here in procedures. It's lacking in a few places right now for some weird reason. We took them away and now we're putting them back in, so they're coming. Okay, but if you see paired activity, it is likely a skill builder because every skill builder is paired. Okay. So for now, that's the answer I'm going to give you. You can always reach out to us later and we'll clarify for you. So the super quick preview on this, just so you can see that it exists, is making a mental map of the US and Canada. And if you want to have some fun and you've never done this, take the world, take North America, take whatever you want, have kids draw it with absolutely no hints. It's hysterical. They're awful at it. And that's actually helpful. Save it. And by the end, you could have them do it again and you see the growth. It's really kind of neat. But that's it for this particular lesson, because this is, for most people, activity one on this is all they ever do with geography. And so you're going to compare your map with the real thing. So there you go. And then you can have a nice laugh of that, because it's kind of funny. And if you want to, we're going to look at North America from space. Don't have time to do that. And now we're going to have some questions about human geography in this region. You can leave some of this out, put it in. I tend to only do this if I think it's going to help me with my history class, because I'm not a geography teacher per se. So I don't always do all of this. But where I want to get you is, well, let me show you the essential question. How can we describe physical and human geography? It doesn't say how can we label. How can we describe the whole thing? And so that it will require some of the physical geography. That's a lot deeper than just listing it. So the activity is as follows, okay? You're going to work in your pair. There's that skill builder. You're going to complete this challenge, part one, challenge one of part A, okay? So part one, the first challenge, what I told you was it's all physical geography. They could do it for homework if you can have them do homework. And they're gonna label these 10 things on a map. This is how they could do it digitally. They can also do it in print. And then there it is for those 10 right there. I'm really strong. This is not my laptop I'm using. Then they're going to do part B. And so that's going to be a different set of them. So there's 20 total. Do whatever you want. But in terms of that review thing, here's what we've got. We've got a game at the end of each section to check it. And so if we're going to go to the game board, and they can review their maps before the game. They're with a partner, and so they're going to play the Find It game, and I'm going to pick a question, and then I'm going to have them compete however I want to. I can send an emissary off. I can have group one go against group two. I can have buzzers. I can have clickets, whatever it is. But one of the questions, man, I'm terrible at that. One of the questions goes up. These are taken from our lesson review games. So essentially, that's what you're doing. They go for it. They get points. They don't get points. And at the end, they add up how many points they've got, and they're going to keep a running total. There's where all the answers were. Okay. Then we go to mapping challenge 2, which is going to have its own thing at the end. But now they're going to take resource maps, either digitally, or you can get a set or you can print them. So now they're going to take this physical and they're going to go in a little bit more depth. So they've got climate zones and population density maps. So now they need a different map to find out the answers to these questions. And so the one on the climate zone looks like this. And if I want to overlay the political layer on the climate zones, it looks like this. And then they're going to try to answer these questions with a partner. It is ramped up in terms of Bloom's taxonomy for them. And when they're done with that, and they're doing it one at a time, I got to get through this because I thought I got rid of all these questions and I did not. Sorry, if I'm playing a game, here's the game. Picture it, same thing, same type of deal. Got this one, picture it, where is that? And they've got to try and locate where it is and keep track of their points. So I can have them write it down, take it as a quiz, do it out, whatever I want. So now you got some points. And we get into the third one, which is phenomenal. And on this one, they're going to mark these 3 locations on a map using the latitude and longitude. Then they're going to get a picture right here, and they're going to use all the data from the last 2 rounds, and they've got to pick, is this location A, B, or C based on just this picture? Can you be a cartographer? It is, and they can all do it. If they went through the rest of them, they can do it. Get it right, get it wrong, move on. What you get with this is so much more than just, well, label all the rivers and all the valleys and all that kind of stuff. Super. So for you geography people, you're welcome. Here's this. For skill building, though, you see how we built that skill and scaffolded on it from here's the stuff, here's what we're going to do with certain resource maps. Now go find this place. We have scaffolded up. For me, I try to do that physical part at home, and then I can spend 2 days on this. I don't rush. I'm great. You could spend 5 days on this, especially if you're a geography teacher, because you get so much meat out of it. Okay. So the process, I actually don't even remember the process for this one. Follow these steps to revise your mental. Oh, they go back to the mental map and they're going to make it better. And it's off the charts better. It's fantastic. Give it a grade. Don't give it a grade. Whatever you want to do. They can draw it digitally, or they could do it by hand, or you can let some kids do it one way and some or the other. Whatever you want to do. So just huge. And I need to go back. Sorry, I'm going to do this. Can I even do this? Oh man, have I made a mess of stuff? That's the wrong one. That's the wrong one. Here's the one I want, I think. Lesson overview. Wow, I lost myself. Okay. Let's find it again. Presentation. Zoom webinars. Ryan, I lost myself. I'm going to look dumb on the recording for that.
You're doing
Okay,
good.
so
We're showing
yeah,
that lesson overview page right now.
you're showing that, but I want to get back to my slide presentation. I can't really find it. I'm going to find it here. Folks, I noticed you had a few questions there, which are great. I don't want to be in the lobby.
Loyal, can I answer a question real quick?
Yes, please do. And I found it. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to give you some time to find it. Lisa asked, can I get a link to this lesson? This is actually from our Geography Alive program. If you have access to a middle school or high school teacher license, you get access to all these programs. And geography is technically middle school and high school. So if you don't have access to this program, you could reach out to our support email address and they could add that program. Or if you have a TCI admin account, you could reach out to them and they could add this program. But yeah, this is from our Geography Alive program.
And Ryan, Melissa just asked one. Are there mapping challenges if you don't have Geography Alive? And
oh yeah,
you want to answer that?
Yeah, so for all of our history programs, the first unit is always going to focus on geography. So ancient world through 1750, American history. The first unit is typically focused on geography of that unit. So even if you don't have Geography Alive, the unit overview will include geography mapping lessons.
And Melissa, you just reach out to us. We want to make you happy. So we're gonna do what we can do to help you out with that. And I appreciate Karen said happens to all of us when I had the technical glitch. That's awesome because I usually go, hey, I bet this never happens in your classroom. Everybody laughs and they give me a break on that. So I appreciate it. So that is very much Fast and Furious.
Loyal just said that we got about 5 minutes left.
5 minutes,
six,
yeah.
6 minutes.
I just want to make sure I quickly review the sources. And again, if you're using TCI, we've given you the sources. We've taken care of the modalities. We've showed you how to model and use guided practice. And again, you can change any of these things because that's the beauty, the flexibility of a TCI lesson in a classroom. Give the kids the immediate feedback. It's the tricky part. And hopefully your teacher brain has been working through some of that and figured some of those things out. And then a debrief, quick debrief. I showed the geography one, but there is one in that government lesson as well, and in all the lessons. And that's actually really important because sometimes when there's too much in the kid's brain, they need a little help to bring it down into one cognitive chunk. Okay. So Jamie, if you look in that orange box, when in lesson overview, there will be, and if there's not coming to you in procedures, it will tell you in this social studies skill builder. If it says in this group activity or in this writing for understanding or whatever, it's not a skill builder. And if it doesn't have it there yet, because we're adding them back in, and you read a little further and it talks about pairs, in all likelihood, that is a skill builder. And we need to clean that up because we took it away. I yelled about it at the time. They didn't listen. So now they're coming back and, just prove me right. I'll take that. And we want to help you with that. Okay. So if you're ever lost, you just reach out to us. Go, is this a skill builder or not? We're going to tell you. There's that high quality instruction. I think that you saw all of this in one or both of the lessons that I quickly modeled for you. We want to make your life easier. We are all teachers or have been teachers. So we get it. You got a teacher problem, reach out. We're going to fix it for you. You've been asking questions, so if there's more, ask them now. But I got to go through and would love you to let us know what you thought of this. That way we know if this is something to bring back for next year, tweak it or dump it because you need something else. So let us know. I'm partial to the year brilliant one down there just because nobody ever calls me brilliant. So even though it may not be just me, I'll take it. So, and thank you right off the bat, Monica. That's beautiful. We're going to support you. These are the ways if you didn't get this last time, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram. We send out updates. It's on our subscriptions. We have a newsletter and we have all those PD courses. Do not be frustrated and swing in the wind. Let us help you. We've been there. We've probably done that, and we want to save you any hassles that you may have along the way. And there's our in-app professional development. It's the top of the purple sidebar. Brian will lead you through those things. So I am really happy to hear the things or read the things that you're putting up there because that's fantastic. Again, you want a shot of $50, 50 people get it. It's got to be somebody. It's $2,500 up for grabs, and they won't give it to Ryan or me. So share something somewhere so you get entered into the drawing. Facebook, Instagram, use that hashtag. Okay, Joanna, that's fantastic here. I'm glad you like enthusiasm. It's because that is us. Okay, and again, you don't know where you're going yet, or you haven't decided. There's your Bitly. Click on it. Go there. You got a couple of minutes break, and we'll see you in the next session. And I love it, Monica. You're wonderful. This is great. Ryan, thank you
Thank you,
for
Loyal.
all the help,
Amazing job.
expert stuff on the end.
I'm
Had a
going to
lot of
add
fun.
the link to get back to the main lobby in the
Oh,
chat
good.
right
Thank
now.
you for doing
So
that.
if you click on that, that will take you back to the main lobby where you can join your last session. And
Fabulous.
Loyal is one of our most experienced trainers, and he always does an amazing job. So thank you,
That's a
Loyal.
nice way of saying I'm old. I will take that.
No, no.
I've reached a new category. I'm no longer old. I'm ancient. So that's fantastic. I appreciate you, Ryan. You people were great. We're fantastic. They're figuring it out. They're leaving. So
All right.
Ryan,
Thanks,
thanks. I know
Loyal.
you got to go somewhere too. So
I'm
I'll
actually
take care of the
not
rest
doing
of
a
it.
third session, so
Oh, I'm not either. So that's good.
all right. Well, thank you, Loyal. I'm going to head off. It was a real
Thanks,
pleasure.
sir.
Thank you for this
Have a good
session.
rest of your day.
Yeah, you too.